trying shit. But welcome to the New Low News Show. How are you doing, Bryce?
Oh man, I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Yeah. I did have actually something to bring to the table for once on this episode because it's April Fool's Day, or it's really St. Patrick's Day. But when this comes out, it could be April
Well,
Fool's
either
Day.
way, it's the same thing. It's Irish, it's fools, same boat.
I was thinking of some shit like that. But yeah, I wanted to tell all the kids and the listeners of the story of when I got catfished. When I was made a fool of, and it would be pretty entertaining. Um, but yeah, I was just curious though, like if you have anything to bring to the table from Rice's Posse Farm in Georgia.
Shit. Not April Fools related. I don't. I've always been way too cynical to really get particularly fooled. I don't know.
Yes, I was.
It's just always me being like, "Fuck no, dude. That wouldn't happen to me. That no." Like but I don't. I mean, like, like if a girl was talking to me, I'd automatically be like, "This isn't really a woman. This is not happening. This person wants something from me."
Yes. Okay. So yeah, let me set the scene then, because this begins the story. And I know we both
Yeah.
might have ADD yet to be determined, but we'll try to. I'm gonna stay on the story till it's over. So, um, so basically, like I experienced a breakup after like living with a person for a few years. So that's pretty tough. But then, basically, I was like single and looking after that. And maybe desperate. I don't know, but either way, like I got a message, from a chick in the United Kingdom, and my first thought is like I'll never fuck this chick because she lives like across an ocean or whatever. So that's too far to swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, but also it was like there's no pressure. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, like how often does a chick message me? Not very often, if you're wondering. And so I was like, just talk to her and whatever, and we hit it off. Whatever you can do online. But okay. So before I continue, I mean, I am familiar with the concepts. I'm an internet native and whatever, and I've watched this TV show Catfish, where I mean, usually somebody's kind of like talking to somebody for a few months with false pictures of who they are. Like they've just found some pictures of somebody that's pretty good looking, and they like fool the recipient or whatever. So like,
Oh yeah.
that wasn't happening. Like this was, I mean, she would video chat, so like I could surmise she was a real person. Um, but then, yeah, I mean, the other aspect of catfishing is like, are they asking you for money? Because it could just be, I mean, some people have a lot of time. So, like, they could just talk to you for a while and then be like, yo, I'm behind on rent, whatever, and ask you for money. So, I mean, that was the other thing I was looking out for. And, I mean, it never really happened like that, although this chick would complain about like how much her life sucked to me and like talk about money, but it never came down to her being like, send me $200 or whatever, or
Yeah.
pounds
Yeah.
or euros or whatever they use over there, pesos. So yeah, I didn't really like sweat it too much, but but I mean, I would video chat with this chick that I'd never met before, and yeah, I mean, I kind of got fooled in the sense of like, um, you know, like I talked to her for like months on end because there is no pressure and she's not asking me for anything. But then like, at some point she posts a status on Facebook that's like, I'm with this other dude, and like I had surmised that she like been, I mean, when you're in another country across the ocean, like even if like hoes in different area codes don't count. I'm not really like
Yeah.
keeping count of like she could be like getting fucked by anybody over there. I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's like a weird level of like, am I being manipulated, or or is it just kind of like, I don't really care that much. But, obviously I did care, right? So, um, so I keep talking to this chick, and, it turns into like one of us is going to visit the other. And, there's like some sweet shit, or like some shit I would consider sweet in between. Like, she's a musician, I'm a musician. I've sent her my shit, whatever. I mean, she didn't say it was like the greatest thing she ever heard, but it's fine, like whatever. She didn't like say anything negative, and then like she actually would like on video chat like sing me songs and play the guitar at the same time. So like I'm pretty smitten with that. I mean, like Rice could rap to me right now, and I would be willing to marry him. So. So yeah, dude, like I'm just into it in general, and like it turns into like I tell her it's weird because it's like she did float the idea. This is where the catfishing part comes in, right? Because it's like she did float the idea of like I could pay to fly her here. But like my whole problem with that is like, okay, I mean I could put my name and all that shit, and then you could just fuck off and do whatever you want without me.
Yeah.
So like it turned into I'm gonna go over there, and like this caused me to get my passport, which is pretty cool. I still have it. I'm coming to your country, motherfuckers. But yeah, like so yeah, like it turned into like I'm coming there, and like I mean I know this isn't that real. You know what I mean? Like, I know this is a real person, and she looks like what she says, or at least I believe that. Like she even had a video chat with her friend, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm, she was like, I'm a real motherfucker. This is a real motherfucker, whatever they say in the UK, and this is a real cunt or whatever." But yeah, it turns into me going over there. So even when I'm going over there, I'm skeptical. Like I don't really believe in internet people. I mean, like, I could believe you're a real person, but I don't trust that you're going to follow through on shit. So, like, even while I'm going over
to... Yeah, but that's like you wouldn't fly her here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, you'd already acknowledged that there was a distrust.
Right. And, yeah, I mean, I remember asking my dude Adam at the time about this, and I was like, how can you trust somebody, like, you haven't met in the flesh? And he was pretty much like, you can't. Or like it's up to you if you do. It's kind of like, I mean, that's what it is, and even when I'm going over there and buying the plane ticket, I'm thinking this person, even though I've surmised they're real, could not show up or fulfill on any promise at all. So it's like I could just be dumped in England, Scunthorpe in England to be exact. Which we'll get into some details, but yeah, Scunthorpe in England. So I'm flying here, and I think I had to fly into Birmingham. But yeah, like I sent her pictures when I was on a layover in Iceland that had like a beer I was drinking and like the currency in Iceland, and then like she seemed to be a lot more serious about meeting up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna pause for a minute because like I know. Actually, I haven't really told this story in full, so that's why I thought this would be a cool episode. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? I mean, like so far, have you like met anybody from the internet before, or have you been to other countries and that kind of shit?
I've been to Canada a couple times, but it was just like, I mean, because I lived in Seattle, so sometimes it was going up there for. Friends were like, hey, let's go to Vancouver overnight or whatever. And a couple times I just decided to hop over the border just randomly to buy, I used to collect Pez dispensers.
Yeah.
And weird fact, they sell different Pez dispensers in Canada than the U.S. And the candy is different. It's actually way better in Canada. It's way better around the world than it is in America. It's fucking horseshit that America has the worst Pez in the world. Plus, there was a point when they didn't sell cherry Pez in the U.S., but they still sold cherry Pez in Canada. I think around the world. I don't know why they weren't selling it here. Some bullshit, but yeah. So a couple times I hopped over the border. I happened to be near it, so I just hop over the border and get Pez at the duty free. You know, just a couple miles over, and then turn around and come right back.
Oh
This is
yeah.
the dumbest reason to visit another country, but
Well, I mean
and it was super quick. But
that's what I was curious about. Like, did you make this trip for Pez? Like your day was about Pez? I'm just trying to clarify.
no, what would be? I'd be up there already, like up by the border in Bellingham, and then I'd be like, "Hey, can we just go a little further and hit Canada, whatever?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, let's do it." All right. So we'd run a little further up and hit Canada and go across the border and get Pez and just turn around and come back. Which is trying to talk to the border guards when that's all you're doing. They look at you like you're fucking mental.
Yeah.
When they're like, "What? So why? What's your reason for crossing?" I'm like, "I'm just gonna run up and grab some Pez dispensers." What? Yeah, I'm just gonna grab Pez. How long are you gonna be here? I don't know. Maybe an hour, 2 hours. I don't. However long it takes to get there, get it, and get back. I don't. But they turned us away once. They thought we were full of shit. So
That's funny.
yeah.
That's funny though
But
too, because it's like, what could? I mean, obviously, maybe you're not there for like a great reason, but it's like if you're not doing anything like terroristic, there's really no reason to like refuse you. You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah,
I've heard the Canada border is kind of bullshitty that way, like where they'll just turn you away for any kind of reason. But
yeah. Well, I mean, they ask you a lot of questions, like, "What are you here? What are you doing? How long are you gonna be here?" And you have to give them like legit. They're like, we were like, "Oh, we're going to Vancouver," and they're like, "Why are you going to Vancouver?" "Oh, go to clubs." "What club are you going to?" "I don't like so and so's." "Like, how long are you going to be here?" "Well, we're going to stay the night in a hotel in Vancouver and come back tomorrow." "I don't know exact."
yeah, like listen,
What
homie.
hotel are you
I
staying
only
in?
plan my
I don't
life
know.
1 day in advance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm doing 2 days from now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes they would say a bar that they wanted to go to while we were in Vancouver, but we never like rented rooms in advance or anything like that, which is fucking stupid. I get it, because there's a small chance you won't be able to find a room. But worst case scenario, it's like a few hours home.
Yeah.
So you just suck it up and be like, "Fuck it, we're leaving. We'll get home super fucking late," but it is what it is. But I mean, I never ran into a problem. I never had a problem finding a hotel while I was there and shit. But yeah, always so many questions. What are you doing? What bar? What hotel are you staying at? What time are you leaving? "Well, you're coming back tomorrow?" "Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow." Like,
Right.
and it's never the same border guard when you come back. It's not the same, "Oh yeah, hey, yeah, you told me you were coming back and here you are." I don't know. It seemed weird. They're just trying to catch in a lie or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just fucking dumb.
They probably have fun, like pushing around like super high people, much like in the movie Super Troopers or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's probably part of it. But yeah, I mean, like I experienced some border shit too. Like, okay, so we're gonna get into it. So like, okay, so long story short, I'm going to England, and stop in Iceland, and then I'm landing in England, Birmingham, and then and I say that because I've talked to this chick a bunch. I would say Birmingham if I'm an American, but yeah. So I fly into this airport, and like immediately, I'm seeing like fully covered women and children with like Islamic people, like and the dudes wearing like a cap. But it's kind of like, I mean, I've seen this shit a tiny bit in the US, like in Boulder, Colorado, but yeah, as far as like the whole family being covered in black, like I was like, oh shit, like I'm in a different place. And yeah, I mean, the English people at the airport were like perfectly cool, I suppose. Very much like you like get on with it kind of thing. Like stop fucking around talking to me, because at first you're just amazed with everything and whatever. But yeah. So I take this train to closer to where they live in Scunthorpe, and so like this is a funny aside. Um, this is called the Scunthorpe problem, which is like a thing with language, right? So the town of Scunthorpe in England is spelled sorry. Okay, so it's spelled Scuntthorpe. So like you can see the problem is that the word cunt is in the name, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so like early on when they were kind of like starting to do AI shit where they were like censoring curse words, like cunt was just like edited out. So like the Scunthorpe problem is basically like if you search this town, it's less likely to come up because the name cunt is in there.
It's because the machine reads it as South Cunthorpe.
Yeah, it would be like if we had a town here that was like Stitz Avenue or whatever, and Tits is the name, so
Yeah, well, fuck, dude, there's places here called Beaver Lick and Toadsuck and shit like that. And America's got some great names for cities.
Yeah, like Dick Suck USA or whatever whatever it's called. Yeah,
I think there's a place. Do you really believe there's a place here called Beaver Lick? Maybe in Kentucky?
Yeah.
I went to Toadsuck in Arkansas. Maybe when we saw the name of the city, we pulled over to take pictures. Like at a place that had the name of the city on it, because we were like, "This is Toadsuck." Yeah, you got to get a picture with that shit. I mean, the only other place we did that was Weed, California, but that seems so juvenile.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, I do understand the thing of like, I'm just right here, right now, so I must get this picture. But yeah, I mean, there is like lesser ones, like 420 Street, like any 420 addresses or High Street or any shit like that gets like ripped off more often than not. But yeah, like, I suppose the town wasn't just called cunt or whatever, but there is like hell Norway and this shit goes on and on. But yeah, so I found it pretty entertaining. But like what they told me when I was in Scunthorpe is that it's pretty much like the hood, it's not like a great area. They were like, why are you here? Like I heard that a lot. Like, why would you visit here? Because also I was flying oh man, this is pretty crazy. Really January 2020, really completely before COVID had become a thing or like the pandemic or any shit like that. So like, yeah, I'm flying there, but also I'm flying there in winter, and they're just like, they just told me straight up, they're just like, why would you come to England in winter? Like this shit sucks. Like, just no qualms about like, this is bad. Like this is bad weather. Even like we live in this shit. Like, we're proud countrymen, but like, yeah, why would you come? They were like, summer is really where it's at, where it's like nice for 8 weeks of the year or something. So, that's what's going on over there.
I was like that when I lived in Seattle. People would visit, and I'd be like, why would you come here in fucking winter, man? Or even the fall. Like, come in the summer or the spring when it's nice. Like, fuck, dude. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I guess part of me like wants the complete picture, like even if it's not great, depending on where I'm going. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah! Like if you're gonna move somewhere, you need to visit that place in the fucking winter, man. End of story.
Right. Or even if like you're moving to Florida, visit that shit in the middle of like August and see if you can hang. Like yeah.
Well, anywhere I moved, well, that's not true. That's not even close to true. I was gonna say anywhere I moved, I tried to visit more than once. I just realized that's horseshit. Like
I moved somewhere after actually on the first visit. That's how I got here. So
yeah,
happens. But yeah, to get back to it. Okay, so England. Okay, so when I'm arriving in England, so she does meet me, so that's a huge relief, right? That this internet person does meet me in person. We have a hug. She's with her friend who I've like talked to via these video chats. And so yeah, we all hug, whatever. We get back to her apartment. It's kind of like a little house party, which is pretty sweet. I mean, there's like other people I haven't met, but I'm getting like catching the vibe and whatever. Um, like one thing I could notice like right away and continued was like I dressed in like this I had this like red flannel hoodie that I like put all these pins and patches on because I'm homosexual or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I could sew and I'm a punk, so I just had made this garment that I'm wearing. With like a back piece, pretty standard punk shit. Like you have your second skin or whatever, that you wear
Yeah.
100% of the time, and only wash if it actually stinks and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wearing it, and it's cool. I mean, people are loving it and digging what I'm bringing to the table. But everybody there is dressed like very drab, in general, like just like grays,
That's the
blacks,
style.
whites, like very few colors. I mean, like this kind of continues through the trip, but like, yeah, I mean, we know the weather in England and the UK is bad, but like, it reflects, you know what I'm saying? Like everything they're
Yeah.
doing is
Yeah.
very dull and like, they're in tea. They love tea. I mean, like the way these motherfuckers drink tea, you would think it was like tequila or something. They love the shit. I mean, like, when I get there, they're like, "Have this tea. It's not like your tea. It's better than you. This is the tea." And I gotta say, it is better. Uh, Probably just because they're like closer to India or whatever the fuck or China. But like I don't know. I mean, I've really thought about this a lot, and like tea has some extra like GABA effects, kind of like alcohol, but it's mostly a stimulant. And I mean, tea is pretty cool. But I mean, like I said, these motherfuckers would be like, I'm waking up, I'm making a cup of tea. An hour later, I'm making a cup of tea after watching some TV. I'm making a cup of tea before I'm doing anything at all. Like these, like it's like beer. They're just like constantly hitting this shit. And it's like maybe this is what makes living in England, worth it or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy to me because it's like, I mean, I don't know. I adjusted, no doubt. I mean, because I love energy drinks and coffee and all that shit. But yeah, like when I would talk to them about other sources of caffeine, they're just like, like nah, it's just tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what about coffee? They're like, yeah, maybe if I'm like hanging out with a French person. Like they just didn't really get coffee or whatever.
That's just, yeah, I don't know, man. Why it is, I guess it's its own thing. And I see it in movies all the time, that are British movies, but where they don't, like even in the morning, they're generally drinking tea or they're drinking espresso. They're not drinking coffee. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. I feel like that's more of like an American thing overall. I mean, like, well, the Canadians have a lot of coffee too, but that's probably just because they hate the British as much as we do. Um, yeah, Mexico, I, I couldn't vouch for it. I mean, I'm sure they do.
I think they're into
Have,
coffee and alcohol and maybe some tea, but maybe tea's probably bigger up here, I would imagine. But yeah, I don't know.
maybe it's a continental thing. Maybe it's more of this, this side of, Pangea or what the fuck ever. Well, we broke away so we could drink coffee. They were left with all the tea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
guess
Boston Tea Party was
it's grown
actually
a
just
lot.
dumping all the tea because fuck tea, and we're gonna create Nas energy drink and Sobe or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
as far as drinks, like the shit is pretty wild. I mean, also I was hanging with people that like they love to smoke weed, which is cool. I'm into it. They weren't big drinkers, which is fine because like before I went over there, like I tried not to drink and whatever, just to be healthy for a long flight and all that kind of shit. And also, I kind of figured out she wasn't that into it. But yeah, I did drink while I was over there a bit, but yeah, I mean these guys, these people were really into smoking weed. And what I mean by that is like, I mean, these people is like, her and her friend and her female friend, Molly, I'll name her. And then this guy we were with who was like a male friend. But yeah, I mean, like we were all hanging out together a lot of the time. And yeah, we all smoked weed. But you know what was interesting about that is, like, I mean, weed smokers have heard of this, but over in England and the UK and whatever, Wales, etc., Scotland, Ireland, like a lot of the way they smoke weed is to roll spliffs, what we would call spliffs, which is tobacco and weed, and
Yeah.
even if they're packing a bong or a pipe, they'll pack it with tobacco, and like they're so used to this, like she called it backy when I was over there. She's like, I gotta get more backy. Like she'd head to the head store or head shop all the time to get this shit. And it's like it's funny to me because like I would roll just to be a good diplomat or whatever. I would roll like pure green and just be like, smoke this shit, motherfuckers. And they weren't against it, like they would hit it. But yeah, I mean, like everybody that like the entire time I was there would roll with tobacco, and like to me, I mean, what that means is you're addicted to nicotine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
well, I mean, to me, it's also it seems like it's almost trying to be more refined.
mm-hmm.
Like they drink tea, they don't drink coffee. They drink, if they smoke weed, they put tobacco in it. So it's more like a regular cigarette. It's more refined. It's like it's the flavor of the tobacco more than just the flavor of weed. Which I mean, honestly, the flavor of weed is pretty gnar sometimes. So.
Smells like a skunk taking a shit. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. But, I mean, to me, like, tobacco smells pretty bad, but it's all personal and situational.
Yeah. Well,
but,
yeah. Well, what's the ratio here?
Right.
We're talking about half and half? We're talking about 70-30, 25-75, like 60-40? Where are we at?
That's a great question. So, like, the primary way I saw everybody smoking was to roll joints with your fingers, like just with the straight, like raw papers or whatever the fuck they are, any kind of brand. Zigzag, I think, was over there. But yeah, like you roll basically half and half. I mean, that's kind of what I would see in the joint, like half green, half brown. But yeah.
What? I don't even get why. Well, I mean, unless they like the flavor of the tobacco. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm here to get high, not smoke a cigarette. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, that's like if I took every shot of whiskey and mixed it half with water.
That's what I'm getting. No. That's what I'm getting to. Like, it is a mixer. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like people smoke blunts in the USA. I mean, that's very common. So like when you're rolling a blunt, you have the tobacco outer layer, which is like pretty prominent if it's a cigar. And then you have, I mean, how I like to roll them is all green inside. But like there are people that roll it half and half. And to me, it's like, okay, I mean, if you think about it, you're smoking like 75% tobacco, you know what I mean? With like just a hint of weed. So, I mean, that happens in this country too. But also like, yeah, I mean, that's what I was seeing over there. And like I said, like they wouldn't turn it down if I was like, we're just doing straight green. But like nobody else did that but me. And I was kind of wondering what that was about. And, like by the end of the trip, I was there for 7 days, which is pretty sweet. By the end of the trip, I was just rolling all green all the time and trying to like spread the wisdom that like you could just be all high all the time and not have, like chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder or whatever.
More smoke, less problems.
Right. And I'm sure these people will live longer than me, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like I've smoked tobacco. I've been a tobacco addict for sure. I am happy to say, if anybody's keeping track, that I haven't touched tobacco or nicotine since 2021. So that's 4 years, and I'm not going back because there's better drugs to do, kids.
You've stopped chasing the tobacco dragon.
Exactly. Because you'll never catch that shit. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. I have no fucking idea, but whatever. I don't. Yeah. I mean. Oh my god. Oh.
That's what tobacco is like, kids.
I fucked with. I don't know. I mean, I did ecstasy once. That was fucking awesome, but I'll never do it again. I did shrooms. I fucking loved it. I'm looking for it all the time. I smoked weed for a while. Consumed weed in different forms for a while. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
But here, man, the law's so fucking wild about weed that I just don't fuck with it anymore. And that's, honestly, I drink more, and I would rather be doing, some form of weed. But it is what it is, man. Like there's laws here that I'm not trying to lose my fucking house and farm and shit because I fucking had weed, and that's the kind of shit they do. Because I mean, fuck, the law is, especially about drugs, man. It's nothing about making money and having fucking labor for prisons. That's it. They fucking seize your fucking car, your house, your fucking boat, your whatever. The fucking drug laws is a fucking cash crop for the fucking popo and prisons. That's it. It's a fucking, yeah, it's nonsense.
oh, dude,
The war on drugs, the war on the people.
I mean, I definitely agree, and also I'm gonna slide this back into the UK story. So, like, weed was totally illegal over there, which was, I mean, why? And I think that's still the case. Like, I really don't think there's been many inroads made over there to like medical cannabis, even because I think it's kind of like what you were touching on before. It's sort of like tea is better than coffee with a little backy in our weed. It's better. I don't know. They just have this like we're different kind of thing going on. But I was preaching the good word to them, being from Colorado and sounding like a dumb hippie. I was like, just legalize everything. It'll make you all this money. It'll be more colorful around here, that kind of thing. But yeah, they weren't really ready to hear it. But I mean, like, okay, so here's how I spent most of my time in England in January, which it was like drizzling and like cold pretty much all the time, like almost like in like a like frustratingly uncool way. Like not cold enough to be like
Yeah.
snowy, but like
Yeah.
not like warm enough to be like a nice sprinkle. So yeah, it was like 33 degrees and sleeting or whatever the fuck. So either way, man, I found like really cool graffiti, 100%. And then also going to stores, finding like different products is always, I mean, that's fun. So like,
Yeah.
and I'm into beverages in general, not only hard drinks but soft drinks. So I tried this shit called Chocomel, which was like, it's like, I mean, we've all had like Nesquik or like Hershey's chocolate milk or some shit, but like, yeah, I mean, Chocomel was the bomb diggity. Just had this kind of like light cocoa flavor, but like super creamy, and came in like cold cans. So I mean, you can't beat that. Also, I tried this shit called Iron Brew, which is like, I guess it outsells Coca Cola in Scotland. That's like their like national drink or whatever. I mean, to me, it's like a soda that tastes like bubble gum, but like maybe like a bit.
Fucking weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird for sure. Like, or like kind of like minty, but like it's also like elevated from. I mean, it's a little bit better. Like, I definitely finished the bottle and could understand the appeal, but like I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It's sort of like people are holding on to shit, but I mean, like my only other observations, like I mean, there are more, but like everything was like smaller over there, literally speaking. Like just going into a doorway or an apartment was like, this is made for like people that might be 6 feet tall, like
Yeah.
in the USA, I mean, a doorway I think by standard now is 6'6", and like everything is just bigger and like just like vaulted ceilings and whatever the fuck. But yeah, like while I was over there, anytime I was in people's apartments or whatever, like the ceiling is just like right fucking there. It's fucking weird, like. But yeah, it was claustrophobic feeling, for sure. But yeah, not really trying to wrap up. I mean, there's plenty to say, but like, I did try to rent a car while I was over there because I could drive stick, and I feel like I could handle being on the other side of the car or whatever, or the road or whatever the fuck. But like, literally, like, like I had the money and whatever, and I was there at the car rental place, and they just weren't going to give me a car. You know what I'm saying? They were just like,
They
this.
were like, you gangster drivers. We don't know about you.
Exactly. They were just like, this American dickhead, like, thought he was couldn't get a car. And I had this whole plan of, like, driving across the country and doing shit. But they were just like, nah, like, just by the look of me, they were just like, yeah, you're not really understanding, kind of that's where I really felt foreign, you know what I mean? It was just like,
Yeah. Well,
I guess I'm wearing too many
why?
colors, or I'm just talking with too much jive. I don't know why they hate me. I definitely can drive a car, but they were just like not into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, why do you say catfished though? I mean, if you met them, you hung out with them.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, did you get ditched at some point?
okay, so yeah, like, this is part of it is like, okay, so I met the person I was expecting to meet, but basically, like, there was like romantic overtures before I ever met her. And then,
Yeah.
like, when I met her, it just kind of became like, I mean, I think the first night we met, like, I tried to kiss her, which didn't really seem crazy because of, like, just based on the things we had talked about. It kind of
Yeah.
seemed like I was like, yeah, like I had been like longing to meet her and she seemed the same way. But then, like, yeah, I mean, like, when I realized that wasn't going to happen or whatever, I don't know, like, it's funny because, like, when I went there, I was like, yeah, she might not even show up, so, like, I could do something else. But I never really had a plan B, So it was kind of fucking weird because it was like I knew, like, the romance shit was over, but it was just like, okay, so now I'm in another country. And, like, I mean, no doubt, like, she did offer me hospitality, and there's no hate at all in this story, but, like, I met a bunch of other people too, but, like, maybe, like, in general, like, they were a bit more conservative or, like, not as adventurous as, like, I was expecting, so I mean, that was kind of weird, but
Yeah.
I'm visiting another country, so it's not going to be like Colorado or North Carolina or Maryland or whatever.
I feel like there's got to be a lot of cultural differences. I mean, just even the little things like talking about how it's tea. There's always backy in the weed. I mean, even smaller houses, just there's so much culturally different.
Oh
So I
yeah,
feel like maybe they're just a little more reserved overall. But I mean, America is very like larger than life. I think that's why a lot of countries think Americans are assholes. It's 'cause everything
yeah,
here is just fucking out of control, big, go bigger, go harder, do more.
yeah.
So yeah,
No, I think the loud American stereotype is real, and I mean, I am that. I mean, or at least I was that there. Not that I was like trying to be obnoxious, of course. I mean, I was mostly chill with people, and everybody got along with me. Like, I'm not trying to paint a bad picture here. I'm actually kind of enjoying it more than I'm telling the story. But like, yeah, I mean, okay. So one thing, like, I talked about colorful clothing versus drab clothing, but also, like, I heard that there was no, like, flavored gum out there. Like, as far as, like, you can't get, like, cinnamon or cherry gum or mango flavored gum or whatever the fuck. They have, like, mint and, like, pink or whatever the fuck, and that's it. Like, it's over, So, like, I went over there with all this, like, extra and Orbitz gum in my pockets, and I was like, you motherfuckers ever had cinnamon gum? And nobody took me up. Like, anybody I met that I offered gum to, they didn't give a fuck. Like, if I showed them, like I brought some, like, US dollars and some US coins, they were into that shit. They were like, what the fuck's this all about? But, like, yeah, if I was like, yeah, I have some gum or some candy from the US, they were like, we don't want that shit. Like, that's full of cancer and racism or whatever they think.
yeah. I was gonna say, I wonder if they consider all American products to be like dirty.
I mean,
Because there's way stricter laws about food in every other country, which is why Canadian Pez was way better than American. It was
right.
made with fruit juice and like naturally flavored and shit. It was delicious.
Yeah, I mean, in my world, though, like, if I had never chewed cinnamon gum, I would try that shit. But,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But I was a bit surprised by that. And then, like, oh, okay, so yeah, you'll have some more insight on this, but, like, as far as being colorful, I did appear a bit like a punk. And when we were going out, like, one night to somewhere, they were like, yeah, people based on your clothes might think you're a punk. And they said it in this way that was like, like it's a bad thing, basically. Like I would be in danger or whatever. And yeah, I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I'm wearing the clothes I came with. Like, I love punk culture. In America, punk is huge. Like, I was happy to be visiting the birth. I mean, I think punk came from the UK, 100%. So I'm like, I'm happy to be visiting here and seeing what's going on. And they were kind of just like, cool. Like they didn't say anything bad, But there was like a difference in perception. Like to them, like punks were like, I guess like could be compared to like the hippies of the USA or something. Like kind of like these guys like tried to fuck it all up, but were like more conservative than that. Like they were like, you're a punk, that's bad. I don't know. They just had that like idea. Even though I talked to this chick for a year prior and shared music that was like rock and punk and everything. But yeah, that's what they told me.
Well, I mean, I only have a limited knowledge of UK punk, but I mean, fuck, aside from the Clash, most of the UK punk I can think of off the top of my head was just like, well, that's not true. I wasn't thinking about certain stuff like the Subhumans and stuff like that, but I mean, a lot of it was just anarcho punk, like just kind of, I don't know, like antisocial, more than anything, if that makes sense. Like not, I don't know, like not. I could see why they might look down on it as what based on what came from that country. Like even stuff that's kind of goofy, in my opinion, like the Sex Pistols and stuff like that. But they tried really hard to be like edgy,
Yeah. No, I mean,
So I think like antisocial.
and also like I could have hung out with different people in another part of the country, and they would be like all about punk and be able to give me a better perspective. But like what I gathered was like kind of what you're saying. Like they looked at it as more of like a based on what they knew about it was more like nihilistic or like more
Yeah.
counterculture. And like in America, it's more like to me like punk is just kind of like telling the truth and just being who you are. And like even though like I'm not a huge punk fan, like I love the culture. I'm in it because it's like I mean super politically left, and then also like just very open to like any like if you're expressing yourself, they're into it. So like yeah, I don't think they really like saw it in that same way. But like yeah, I mean punk to me is the good shit, just like hip hop and rock, and I think those are the only subcultures I follow.
Yeah. But I mean, I would get kind of where it could be considered antisocial, especially if you're not super familiar with it. And I do feel like, even though it kind of came from the UK, I don't think it was as popular there ever as it was here.
Yeah, they don't know anything about Dead Kennedy's California Uber Alles. Although I tried to show them while I was there. But yeah, I mean, okay. So try to finish up the story because it's almost over. Um, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. Honestly, like the landscape. Not that anybody's ever said like England or the UK is the most beautiful place on earth, but it really reminded me of like I guess like Pennsylvania, to be honest, close to where I grew up, or like Virginia or West Virginia, in Maryland, but it's just like rolling green hills. There's no mountains. It's just kind of whatever. And then like also, yeah, I mean the fact that it's overcast and like rainy most of the time probably makes it a lot like some places in the USA. I mean, we're talking about like Seattle, Oregon, and that kind of thing, or Portland. I mean, but yeah, it's just like it was interesting to like take a vacation there. I mean, I guess most people think of a vacation as like super sunny and like you're on a fucking beach or something, but I was happy to take like kind of different sort of excursion. I mean, I was talking about visiting my friend in Alaska during winter, so I'm kind of weird like that, but yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it was weird because, I mean, obviously it's pretty costly to take like a long flight like that, um, and then not get what you want. But like I said, like the whole catfishing aspect of this is pretty much just that this chick lied to me about what she intended to happen. but like I'm no Bill Cosby. Like I didn't do anything different. I was just like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I could do some other shit, but kind of, I don't know. I guess it wasn't what I expected in some ways, and then it was in other ways. But I'll be honest though, I was happy to get back to the U.S. But what I did notice when I got back was people do dress more colorfully, just in general. Like when you're over there, like nobody's wearing like a bright red anything or bright green anything or blue. You know what I mean? Like it's just like black, gray, tan, whatever the fuck. And then people are way fatter over here, 100%. I mean, like,
Oh yeah.
I never saw like an obese person over there. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but like, just walking around. I mean, one chick I remember with some kids, she was like kind of overweight, but like compared to America, I mean, like even when I got back to the airport in America for a changeover in San Francisco, I was like, everybody here is like 50 pounds heavier. It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do like that we can get whatever the fuck we want over here cheap. And I think that's why people are fat.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it also is just what we allow in food and what we put in food, and just little things.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also do have more food available to us, and culturally, like just like they smoke tobacco with their fucking weed or tea with their instead of coffee or whatever. I think that they probably just eat less food because that's just culturally how it is. But in America, it's like, man, eat as much food as you possibly can. There's so many places where you can get, a 12 egg omelet or what the fuck ever, a 5-pound burger,
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean,
Like
this came up over there too, because like while I was staying over there, when I woke up, I was like, "Let's get some food," and they were like, "What do you mean?" Like they just like would like watch TV and drink some tea, and like smoke some weed that was half tobacco. I was like, okay, but whatever. And then like at lunchtime, they would like maybe like have a snack, and then yeah. Also, the sun. I mean, it is way higher on the fucking northern hemisphere than us. But um, like by evening time they would be eating, but like also like the sun was seemed to be up longer. So it would be like the middle of winter and it was like 7:30 p.m. and the sun was up and we're eating dinner. So that was kind of interesting. But I will say, like, yeah, they were definitely programmed to have like smaller portions and less food. And like I said, they just weren't interested in eating until later in the day. And, so this is kind of like, they didn't mind, like when I came through with like some muffins and croissants in the morning, they were like, fuck yeah. And they ate it. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't against it. But yeah, they just weren't,
yeah.
they just didn't eat like we would out here. And when I got back here, I mean, I was skinnier, and then like, I was into eating though, like as much as I did before, because I don't know. I mean, abundance is pretty sweet, when you do have it. So, but yeah, I mean that was an interesting like cultural difference too. Um, but yeah, I mean I was happy to be back in the USA for what it's worth, even though this place sucks in a lot of ways. Uh, I do like freedom of speech is huge, and just like just having everything at our disposal. It's like the LCD sound system song North Americans. Like I don't know, we're like arrogant, but it's like we got something going on. So yeah, we covered it in Delete Fucking Everything Drunker Than You. Kids listening from around the world, please tune in on YouTube or Bandcamp.
Yeah.
DFE is pretty good.
They're all right. You're into that kind of thing.
Bro, yeah, dude, I'm really fucking honestly super psyched that you want to do this every week. And my homie, who's working on music, Fader James, he's like, we're meeting every Sunday. We've already done it twice. So man, this is how it happens. You know, when you have it every week, man, like you just chip away at it little by little. If you're whack, you know, you say, yo, homie, we're whack, and you know, you just fucking cry and whatever.
Delete.
And, yeah, you just do better. You just come back better. And but yeah, I mean, just the persistence, you know, because I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's only time on the clock. I mean, it's crazy. You know, like
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, my whole outlook on life though has been changed. That's sort of the whole. I don't know. When they tell you, because I don't know, like last March, so maybe it was a year and maybe like 2 weeks ago, just short of 2 weeks, maybe like 10 days, something like that. But anyway, I found I had cancer, and that motherfucker walked into the room and he just said, "I'm sorry." So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die. But he couldn't give me more information. You know what I mean? That's not his specialty. That's not his expertise. He just saw that I had cancer growing in me. So he was just like, "I'm sorry." So my thought is just like, oh fuck, I'm dead. So to be here a year later, in 2 weeks, and I'm fucking building a goat house. You know what I mean? Like I'm working, I'm building shit. I'm alive. I'm gonna fucking do shit. I'm gonna fucking do a podcast. I'm gonna fucking build a goat house. I'm gonna fucking build tons of buildings on my property. I'm gonna start making shit and selling it. Woodwork. That's, you know, I'm doing what I do. I'm on the fucking grind.
hell yeah, dude. I mean, that's I mean,
But
I'm on
it's
the
a
same
renewal.
shit.
To think you're gonna die and to be told you don't have to. You're like, fuck yes, I'm on it. Let's do this. I didn't survive, you know, a month and a half of daily radiation therapy that made me feel like shit and sleep 20 hours a day to do jack shit after I'm done. I'm here to conquer. I'm taking over. But not in you know, an ugly way. Taking over your brain waves. Planting seeds. Because the seeds of the revolution have been planted. We must harvest them and survive.
And that's why not only will this be the April Fool's Day episode, but also Delete Fucking Everything will have a second album.
Now I know it's an April Fool's joke. I'd be down to do a second album, but I can't do one now. My voice is fucking shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, motherfuckers will hear this and be like, who is this charming, handsome motherfucker, you know, and then learn that it's the new Rice, you know, and be like, wow, man, this guy's been through a lot, and he's better for it. And,
I'll be like, this guy's voice sounds fucking crazy. He sounds like he has a speech impediment.
well, I mean, it's like...
And I do now.
Well,
I mean,
you know, I mean, people
it's
love...
undeniable.
People love 50 Cent from back in the day, and I love Conway the Machine, who he has fucking Bell's palsy.
Shit.
And,
brutal.
yeah, man, you could rap like that.
Well, I mean, I do have, the left side of my tongue in the back, I don't have control of right now. I have no muscle control there. So that's part of what people hear when they hear me speaking is that I don't, it really fucked up muscles, bones, everything. Like radiation is fucking gnarly.
Yeah,
but do it. 100% do it.
Well,
if I talked to there was a lady online that was like, I have cancer. I have to do radiation and I'm afraid of it and I don't want to. And I'm like, dude, you got two options. You do the radiation or you die. And really being dead sucks. So just do the radiation. Like, I know it's hard. I know it's fucking shitty. Just fucking do it. So this is me online or, you know, whatever, a podcast, however you're doing it. If you need radiation therapy, just fucking do it. If it can save your life, fucking do it.
Oh, yeah.
Dying suck. If you're alive, you can still drink. It's fucking awesome. Go for it.
And also, go to Walmart and buy all your favorite radiated toothpastes and ointments, and like really rub the radiation all over you because it could only do you
Just
well.
get it in there, man. all the pores. Just buy some radiation paste and try and shove it under your gum line along your teeth if you can.
Yeah, you gotta get it in there before the cancer, So wherever you feel cancer coming up, if it's in your face,
your radiation.
You just gotta rub that shit all over your face, and that's what President Eisenhower would have you do. I don't know. But
man, that was another fucking gnarly thing I didn't realize. They're like when I was on, because I was doing chemo every 2 weeks as well. But they were like, when you do chemo, make sure that your animals can't get in the bathroom, because if they drink from the toilet and it has your chemo piss in it, it could kill them.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, holy shit. That's when you realize what the fuck they're putting in you.
Yeah.
And they were like, and when you clean the toilet, you need to wear gloves so you don't get it on you. And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's what they're putting in me. They're putting shit in me that my piss can now kill people. It feels good to know that your piss is deadly. So I don't,
Yeah, I was about to say, like, whether you're a superhero or supervillain, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a power fight. It's a feeling of power. I serve lemonade to billionaires with my chemo piss. It feels, I don't know, man. It feels dirty to bring it up, but man, I fucking hate plugging my own shit on this, but DFE, Zombie Apocalypse 3, the second beat of that song, the one that I rap on, is fucking insanely like, it's that is fucking way off kilter. Yeah. But I just felt it. I was just like, dude, yeah, I can use it. This is fucking awesome. Yeah, I can fucking rap on this. Fuck yes.
Yeah, you're like, I've had enough Four Loko, raspberry flavor, and I'm about to drop my shit.
I'm drunk enough to do this. Let's do it.
No, dude, but like I said, dude, this shit aged really well. I mean, there's nothing there's nothing I listen to on there that I'm like this. And I even knew, even though this might be the mic we're recording on right now, like I knew the mic that I had wasn't the greatest, but I was just like, fuck it, man. Like if you have the energy and the fucking the writing and just like the composure and whatever, like the shit will be dope regardless,
Yeah.
And
but we do need to point out that on that album, not a single lyric was recorded in a state of sobriety. Not one.
Pretty much
I remember once we recorded and we went to sleep and we woke up in the morning and we listened to it and we were like, oh God. And it was me. My verse was so shit because I was fucking hammered the night before.
Happens.
And we were like, we need to redo this. And I had to be at work in like, I don't know, 2 hours. But because I am a goddamn workhorse, I got drunk before work.
Yeah.
Just to be real. Fucking re-recorded that verse drunk. Yeah, and it worked the second time. It worked that time, but then I had to go to work a little drunk, which was it worked out. It was fine.
Yeah, I
Nobody
mean,
knew.
nobody should be sober at Jimmy John's, whether worker or customer. You know,
The people coming in aren't sober. Why should I be?
But no, dude. I mean, I appreciate your commitment to. I can hear that in the mix, but it's like even though these guys are drunk, it's still cool. Just like we intended to be like Cypress Hill and fucking Run DMC and all our forefathers. You know, I think we fulfilled our obligations as well as we could.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's the weird. For me, it was like the idea of like, and I understand even when I listen to it now, I'm like, man, I was coming from a more dated era of hip hop, but it was the era of hip hop that I really loved.
Right.
That was, like it sort of sounded more like Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Public Enemy, like that. Very, I don't know, just more straightforward.
Right.
The basis of where hip hop came from, but I mean now but because I mean I've always listened to hip hop, I realized like there are a lot of artists I like now. And I was writing more like artists that I enjoy now, like LP, Prof, like just sort of more Greaves, more like just more modern in the way that I was writing and the style, the timing that I was writing in.
Kind of more like loose. I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more loose.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you listen to old rap, it's very structured, very, very, very structured. And that's sort of where I was coming from, because I mean, even now, I'm old. That was my favorite form of hip hop for a long time. Even now, I mean, I still love it. I mean, fucking Raising Hell. If you did not listen to the Raising Hell by Run DMC and think that's a great album, you're a fucking idiot.
I can tell you still have the creative juices and whatever the fuck, and that's all it takes. Because like so many people have just kind of like given up or just like I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like impossible for me to think about dying without some type of legacy. So like, art and music just like answers the call so well. But I mean,
oh yeah, 100%. And that's my thing. Like when, because some guy was arguing with me online, and he was like, "Whatever, I'm a fucking rescue swimmer, and I do this and I do that, and I'm fucking blah blah blah. What the fuck have you done? What's your fucking legacy?" And I was like, motherfucker, I've been in 2 shitty films. Like, I've had multiple TV appearances. I've been published multiple times. Like, I've recorded multiple albums. Like, what do you mean, what the fuck is my legacy? My legacy is far more tangible than yours.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, that's fact. I make art. People have art. People own my paintings, then they're hanging in their house.
Oh, dude! I mean, it's hanging right here, right now. No, and it's fucking huge, bro. Because like, yeah, I mean, when you think about what you leave behind, so many people leave behind nothing, and then like any kind of art you do will blow up 10 times, even though you don't realize it. You know, because it's like when I look back at my like legacy, whatever you want to call it, right now, I'm like. Yeah, it's whatever. People kind of dig it. Some people like it more than others. But it's like once you pass, I mean, I've seen this shit blow up with like an underground artist where it's like one song has 1,000 views, then it has 600,000 views after they pass. Like it sucks that dying is like a good career move or whatever they say. But it's just kind of like shit is not appreciated in its own time. I mean, that's really the point, like, and people put more weight on it once you do pass, unfortunately. But like, I mean, that's why every day really is lucky to just be able to put it out there, because like the shit Robotusk I put out, it's got 10K views right now. It'll probably be deleted, re-put up, re-deleted. Somebody else will like kind of copy it into another song. Like the influence lives on in some way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It is what it becomes.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you just try to get your message out there the best way you can, and then like, like I said, like even if your music or podcasts or whatever are not the thing 100 years hence, like your presence and your like influence like will have to shine through. I mean, if you're good, if you write some cool shit, so work on that, motherfuckers. But like as long as you're like interesting and like fucking entertaining, at least that's what I try to be in general. Like that shit will like connect, no doubt.
One of the paintings I did that the girl that had it, her daughter really liked it. So her daughter was like, I want that in my bathroom. So her daughter took it. So it's one of those things where like I did a painting and it even switched generations.
Yeah.
Like the daughter was like, oh, that's rad. I want that in my bathroom. Can I have that? And the mom was like, sure. Yeah, let's put it in your bathroom. But it was seriously a great painting, though. It was a manatee coming up out of the water, and the water is parting underneath the manatee, like biblically parting. And the manatee has its little flippers together, like it's praying, jumping out of the water. So it's, I titled it God Save the Manatees. But, it's a praying manatee flying out of the water parting underneath it. It's a great painting. You just have to take my word for it.
I'm describing a visual piece of art in audio form. Hopefully you guys get it. I don't know. It should be good.
Picture in your head, picture it as beautiful as you possibly can, and you'll be better than the painting I did. It's the way we're doing this.
But yeah, dude, as far as music, dude, we can definitely keep working on it.
Frank Zappa. Zappa's shit is all fucking jazz. It's fucking nuts. It's out of control.
And orchestra, like.
And whether that's like your style or not, you have to recognize that what he did was fucking amazing. It was phenomenal. Like for the fact that it wasn't standardized. It wasn't like 4/4 timing trying to make a pop hit, like whatever. It was nuts.
Yeah,
a lot of what he did.
That's why I've been a fan of this dude, and this will probably make it into the Beast of the Week section that we already started. But to me it's like, okay, so I think the criticism in his own time of his music was that it was too complicated. It was kind of like too brainy, it's like for nerds kind of thing, or like if you're like an orchestra nerd, you might like this kind of rock music. But like to me, it's like, what is everybody else doing? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, try some shit. So that's why I like the kind of like exploratory nature of it, and like that's why I've always loved like math rock and anything like labeled that kind of way of like mathematical or like orchestra based, because it's like, I mean, just like try shit out and just do different shit, because it's like, if you tune into like classical rock stations, it's all fucking AC/DC and whatever the fuck. So like, I mean, like we have all these instruments to do more. So yeah, but I'm just speaking of my love of rock music in general. Like
Beast of the week.
we were talking about Frank Zappa. I mean, that's how I feel about him because like some people do take it kind of seriously, and to me, it's kind of like half joke. I don't know. It's like people. I mean, like literally reference him as like a forerunner to like Weird Al and shit like that. And so yeah, I mean, there is that comedy element, and like even like there's a Zappa song called like "Does Humor Belong in Music" or whatever. So. I mean, like to me, it's all just fun. I mean, whatever's fucking entertaining. Yeah. I mean, that's what music's all about. So,
I can't see him being a forerunner to Weird Al. I don't, to some degree, comedically, but I feel like his music was so complex.
Yeah.
Like he was legit, like an amazing, like just the music he wrote was fucking outlandish.
Yeah.
Just the jazzy, like, fucking wild timing and just arrangements and shit. Like, Zappa was really his own beast. And I'm sure there are other people that are similar, but I don't think I don't know. I wouldn't make the comparison, really.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if Mojo Nixon isn't this week's beast, then Frank Zappa is this week's beast.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I talked to you about, actually, I think how Frank Zappa came up was I was talking to you about how your, like, throat might have, like, you have, like, a different pitch healing up or whatever. So that's an interesting part of his story. But, yeah, I mean, to me, it was like, my parents were into pretty cool music, I would say. I mean, some of it, like, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, like Cream, some shit like that. And then like Zappa to me was like, I told my parents, I was like, yo, I love Zappa. And they were like, yeah, he's pretty good. Like they just didn't really give a fuck. But I was like, no, this is the dude. Like, I don't know. And like, to me, I got really into his music because, oh man, I love this song, Cosmic Debris, which is pretty much like, he's like talking shit to like a psychic or like somebody trying to like like kind of rip him off, and like all the lyrics are just like how this guy's full of shit. Plus the music is great, so it's like I mean, what's not to love, And then like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't really call him like a comedy rock artist or whatever, but like, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan, regardless. Like, and then like he was like super open about like atheism and also like just talking shit about Christians, like just being like they're trying to take over this country with their like fucking fascist bullshit, So, back in the 80s. So like I appreciate that too.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of well, but I mean, one of his they put a parental advisory. Explicit lyrics on an album that he put out that was a instrumental album. Jazz from Hell, I think it was called.
Right.
But yeah, that I don't like he was hated for sure. And I think he also had reason to hate the system because of shit like that. Like they targeted him just because he was who he was and slapped a explicit lyrics album or like explicit lyrics sticker on an album that didn't have lyrics.
Right.
Like that. How maddening would that have been? Oh yeah. I gotta get up early in the morning, so the earlier we end, I guess, the better. I fucking gotta be up at like, I think 6:30 tomorrow I gotta do stuff around the homestead before I go take off to drive almost an hour away to have my checkup, see if the cancer's come back. But next Monday, you guys will know whether or not the cancer came back.
That's right. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen, and kids and adults, and uh, men
It's
and
a cliffhanger.
women.
It's a cliffhanger. Has the cancer come back? You won't know it unless you tune in next week.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. No.
Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger.
All right, bro. I'm gonna let you go.
All right, I'll catch you later,
All right,
and
dude.
I'll let you know what they say
Oh yeah.
next week.
I do hope that you don't have cancer. I did want to say that just to be sure.
What's that?
I said I do hope that you do not have cancer. Just in case anyone's listening, you know what I'm saying? Like, hope.
They're like, I wonder what Kobe thinks. Does he still have cancer or not? They're like, no, I hope he does not. You guys are jerks.
But yeah, I don't think you will because you have the thirst for life, and that doesn't really matter. You still might, but I support you either way, and we're gonna still kick out the New Low News show for the people listening in Bulgaria and Mongolia and South Africa and things like that.
There's like 2 nations, 3 nations that listen to us. It's cool. They'll love it.
Fuck yeah.
It's the people, yeah. It's the people that want to know.
Well, here's what I've learned is some people are just trying to learn English, so they don't even care about what we're talking about in particular. They're just trying to listen to voices saying English. So that's something that keeps me inspired to do the podcast and the hip hop too.
Man, they're barking up the wrong tree here.
I barely know
wild
English.
shit.
All right, bro. I'm gonna hit stop.